students, today we are going to start with the kinematics, and the very first topic we are going to start is motion in 1D. Motion in one dimension. Now motion always means it is the change in position or change in coordinates of a body. Now if the body moves in such a way that out of the three coordinates, this is x-axis, this is y-axis and this is z-axis, we have got the three coordinates x, y and z. If the body moves in such a way that either of the three only one coordinate changes, that is if one coordinate changes, either x changes or y changes or z changes, that is always a motion in 1D. This is called as one dimension motion. Suppose a car which is traveling on the straight line. We know that it is only changing the x coordinate because it is moving onto the road. So if a ball thrown vertically upwards, only y coordinate is changing constantly. So if only one of the three coordinates changes, that is the motion in 1D, and necessarily the motion in one dimension should be a straight line motion. If in the process of motion, if two coordinate changes out of the three, that motion is called as motion in two dimensions. For example, we say projectile motion. It's simple logic. Suppose a particle is thrown upwards with some initial velocity making certain angle theta with the ground. Now see, as it goes on moving, its two coordinates x and y, they are constantly changing. At this position x is 0, y 0. Here x coordinate has this much of value, y coordinate has this much value. When it reaches the highest point, x becomes this and y coordinate becomes maximum. So any motion which is in two dimension, two coordinates must change. For example, a projectile motion is in two dimension. A particle moving into the circular path. Suppose these are the two perpendicular axes, x-axis and y-axis. Let the radius of this circular path is r. When the particle is here, x coordinate is r, y coordinate is 0. When it reaches on top, x coordinate becomes 0, y coordinate becomes r. Here x coordinate becomes minus r, y coordinate is 0. Here x is 0, y coordinate is minus r. So any motion in circular path is a two-dimensional example. Any particle which is thrown making certain angle with the ground, that has got change of two coordinates, that is a two-dimensional motion. And if all the three coordinates changes in the motion, that is the motion in 3D. For example, a bird flying in the space. A bird flying in the space, it is free to change any of the three coordinates or all the three coordinates simultaneously. Any motion in the free space is a three-dimensional motion. Three-dimensional means three coordinate changes. So if only one coordinate changes, that is the motion in one dimension, that is a straight line. If out of three, two coordinate changes, that is the motion in 2D. If all the three coordinate changes, that is called as the three-dimensional motion. So if we are studying the motion in 1D, naturally we have to study the motion in a straight line. And in this one dimension, only one coordinate of the motion changes, either x changes or y changes or z changes, other two remains constant. The very first term in this 1D motion is the difference between the distance and displacement. This you all have studied in 9th class standard. The basic difference in both these words. Distance is defined as the actual length of the path traveled by the body, while the displacement is defined as the shortest distance traveled between initial and final position. Shortest distance between initial and final position. In no case the distance covered by the body can be 0, right? Or it cannot be 0 or negative, while the displacement can be 0 or it can be negative. I can give you one example. Suppose a particle starts from point A, travels a distance of 10 meters to reach up to the point B, and comes back from B to the point C, where from A to C the distance is suppose 5 meters. Now initial position is this, final position is this. The shortest displacement is 5. The displacement traveled in this case is 5 meters, and this is negative also because it is moving into the upward direction, opposite direction. Distance is always a scalar term, it does not have any direction, while the displacement is always a vector term. It has got the direction because we know initial and final position, we know the direction in which the body is traveling. Now, after this small difference in the two different words, now we come over to the idea of speed and velocity. Speed is defined as the distance traveled per unit time. Distance upon time is said to be the speed. Speed is always a scalar quantity, no direction is needed to define it. While if we define the velocity, velocity is always defined as the displacement traveled per unit time. Both have the same SI unit of meters per second. No case, again we say this speed is a scalar term while this is a vector term. This can be 0, this can be positive, or velocity can be negative, while the speed is always positive for a moving body. Now see, we can define the velocity in so many ways. The first type of velocity is called as uniform velocity. The meaning of this word is that if the body moves in such a way that it covers equal distances, if the body moves in such a way that it covers equal distances in equal interval of time, the velocity or the speed remains constant. For example, if we plot a graph of time versus the displacement, the graph will always be a straight line because body is moving with the uniform velocity, displacement time graph is always an inclined line making certain angle with this. And now see, if I plot for the same motion the graph of velocity versus time, the velocity versus time graph will be one line parallel to the time axis because the velocity remains uniform throughout the motion. So for uniform motion, body travels in such a way that it is covering every equal distances in equal interval of time. The graph between S and T, the graph between B and T is like that. Second type of velocity which we can define is non-uniform velocity. Non-uniform, very clearly this basic concept, if the body moves in such a way that it either covers unequal distances in equal interval of time or it covers equal distances in unequal interval of time. The graph is not a linear straight line graph, it may be one curved line like anything. Third type of velocity is said to be the average velocity, or we can define what is average speed. Average speed is defined as the total distance traveled upon the total time taken. I take one simple example to calculate the average speed. Suppose a person travels on the bike from one place A to another place B. When he is going from A to B, he maintains the speed of 60 km per hour uniform. When he returns back from B to A, he maintains the speed of 40 km per hour. Now see, average speed we have to calculate during the whole of the technique. The total distance, suppose from A to B, I say the distance is x. In going and in coming back, the total distance traveled will be x plus x. going from A to B is different than the time taken to reach from B to A. The time from A to B, suppose it is t1, time is always distance upon speed. Time in coming back from B to A, it is distance covered upon speed. I put the value here. Time in going will be x by 60 and time in coming back will be x by 40. It will be twice x, and in the denominator we take the LCM as 120. This will be twice x plus 3x. Will be left with 2x into 120 upon 5x. It comes out to be 48 kilometers per hour. So in general, what the children used to do, they just sum up the velocity and divide it by 2. But what we have to do, we have to calculate the total distance covered upon total time taken, that is the average speed during whole of the journey. Now, after this, we come over to the acceleration concept. Acceleration always means it is the change in velocity with respect to time. When we press the accelerator of the car, the speed of the car increases with time. When we press the brakes, the speed reduces with time. So it is in general defined as the change in velocity per unit time. The change in velocity upon the time taken. For example, suppose a car starts from west from one place A, reaches to the place B, reaches to the place C, and finally reaches to the place D. From A to B, suppose it starts from west. At this point B, the velocity increases from 0 to 5. At point C, the velocity increases from 5 to 10. And here the velocity increases from 10 to 15. Suppose the time taken from A to B is 2 seconds, from B to C it is 2 seconds, from C to D it is 2 seconds. Now if I calculate acceleration from A to B, I know it is the change in velocity, final minus initial upon time taken, that is 2.5 meters per second square. If I calculate acceleration from B to C, it is change in velocity 10 minus 5 upon the time taken, that is again 2 seconds. It comes out to be 2.5 meters per second square. So if the velocity changes by every equal amount in equal interval of time, the acceleration remains uniform throughout the motion. Change in velocity by equal amount, and if it is a uniform acceleration, the graph between velocity versus time should be one straight inclined line, because velocity is increasing with time, and from this graph the slope of the graph, the slope of velocity time graph gives us the acceleration. Slope is always tan theta. We can calculate in any right angle triangle what is the value of tan theta. कितना हो गया?
13 minutes. 13.
बहुत है बस.
Thank you, Guru.
Thank you, children, all of you.